Listen carefully. There is a whisper inside you right now. A nudge. A pull. A feeling you cannot explain, but you cannot ignore either. You have felt it in the middle of the night when sleep would not come. You have felt it in the silence of a crowded room when everyone was laughing but you felt utterly alone. You have felt it when you looked in the mirror and did not recognize the person staring back at you. That is not confusion. That is not depression. That is not your imagination playing tricks on you. That is God. Hear this clearly. God is trying to reach you right now, in this very moment. He is not shouting from the heavens with thunder and lightning. He is whispering to your spirit gently, patiently, relentlessly, because he knows that a soul as important as yours cannot be reached with noise. You can only be reached with a nudge, a holy nudge. And if you ignore it one more time, you may miss the very thing you were born for. So today, stop. Stop scrolling, stop pretending everything is fine, stop drowning out the whisper with noise, with work, with distractions, with people who do not even see you. Because God is saying something to you today. And if you have ears to hear, your entire life is about to change. This is not just a video. This is a divine appointment. This is the moment heaven has been waiting for. And if you are watching this, it is not by accident. You were led here. You were called here. Because it is time for you to stop ignoring the holy nudge in your spirit. God is saying, I have been trying to reach you. Let those words sink into your bones. The creator of the universe, the one who spoke galaxies into existence, the one who holds every star by name, has been trying to reach you. Not through angels with trumpets, not through burning bushes, but through something far more personal, a feeling, a conviction, a holy discomfort with the life you have been settling for. You were never meant to be ordinary. You were never meant to live small, to shrink yourself, to apologize for the fire burning inside you. You were chosen before you were born, set apart before you took your first breath, and marked for a purpose that the enemy has been fighting to keep you from discovering. That is why your life has felt so hard. That is why you have felt so isolated. That is why the people around you do not understand you. Because chosen ones are never understood by ordinary eyes. Let this speech pierce your soul today. Let it remind you why you have survived every storm, why you have outlasted every heartbreak, why you are still standing after everything that tried to break you. God has been preparing you in silence, refining you in fire, and calling you deeper into destiny. And today, He is asking you one final question. Will you ignore the nudge again, or will you finally listen? This is your moment. This is your holy invitation. And once you understand what God is truly saying to you, you will never see your pain, your loneliness, or your waiting season the same way again. Let us begin. There comes a moment in every chosen life when heaven grows quiet, not because God has left, but because He is preparing something so massive that words could not contain it. You have been living in that quiet. You have called it silence, but it was never silence. It was preparation. It was the sound of God working behind the scenes of your life, arranging people, timing, doors, and breakthroughs you cannot yet see. Listen carefully. Before every great move of God, there is a season of stillness. Before the resurrection, there was a tomb. Before the promised land, there was a wilderness. Before the throne, there was a prison. And before your breakthrough, there has been this waiting, this aching, uncomfortable, confusing waiting that has made you question everything. But hear this clearly. Your waiting was never punishment. It was preparation. God does not build cathedrals overnight. He does not raise up chosen vessels in a single season. He takes His time, because what He is building in you is meant to last for generations. What feels like delay to you is actually divine construction. Every tear you have cried in private, every night you have stared at the ceiling wondering if you would ever be seen, every prayer that seemed to bounce off the ceiling, none of it was wasted. God was listening. God was working. God was preparing the exact moment when everything would shift. And that moment is closer than you think. You have felt it, haven't you? A stirring, a restlessness, a sense that something is about to change, even though nothing around you looks different yet. That is the holy nudge. That is God whispering, "Get ready, I am about to move." Do not ignore it. Do not talk yourself out of it. Do not let logic silence what your spirit already knows to be true. Because here is what the enemy does not want you to understand. Your isolation was never abandonment. It was assignment. Think about every person in Scripture who was chosen for something great. Joseph was thrown into a pit by his own brothers before he ever wore a crown of authority in Egypt. David was left in the fields, forgotten by his own father, before he was anointed king. Moses spent 40 years in a desert, tending sheep, feeling forgotten, before God called him from a burning bush. Every single one of them walked through isolation before they walked into influence. That is not a coincidence. That is the pattern of the chosen. God isolates the ones he is about to elevate. Not because he does not love them, but because he loves them too much to let the noise of the crowd distort what he is building inside them. You cannot hear the whisper of God in a room full of noise. You cannot recognize your calling while you are busy trying to fit in with people who were never meant to walk with you into your next season. So if you have felt lonely lately, hear this clearly, that loneliness has a purpose. God is saying, "I removed them so you could hear me." Some of the people who left your life did not leave because something was wrong with you. They left because they were never assigned to your next chapter. Some friendships ended not because of betrayal, but because of misalignment. And yes, some of it was betrayal. Some of it hurt in ways that words cannot fully describe. Someone you trusted turned their back on you. Someone you loved deeply chose someone else, chose comfort over loyalty, chose silence over truth. Someone who said they would always be there disappeared the moment things got hard. Let this be a moment of honesty. If that is you, if you are carrying wounds from people who claimed to love you and left you anyway, God sees it. He sees every tear. He sees every sleepless night. He sees every moment you smiled on the outside while your heart was breaking on the inside, and he is saying to you today that pain was not the end of your story. It was the pruning of your story. Because chosen ones cannot carry fake people into real destiny. God will allow relationships to end, doors to close, and seasons to shift, not to hurt you, but to protect the assignment on your life. Every person who walked away made room for someone or something greater. Every heartbreak was a divine editing of your circle, a holy removal of anything that could not survive where you are going. Hear this clearly. You were not too much. They were simply not able to carry the weight of your calling. Some people are only meant for a season, not for a lifetime. And when God begins to elevate you, he often has to remove people who were comfortable with the old you because they cannot handle the new you. That is not cruelty. That is protection. God is not punishing you by taking people away. He is protecting the very thing he is building inside you. So stop mourning what left. Start preparing for what is coming. Because right now, in the quiet, in the loneliness, in the waiting, God is doing something in your spirit that no eye can see yet. He is stripping away everything that does not belong in your next chapter. He is building character where there was chaos. He is building faith where there was fear. He is building patience where there was panic. This is the process of transformation before elevation. You cannot skip this part. No chosen vessel in history has ever skipped this part. Before Joseph ruled Egypt, he had to be tested in a prison cell. Before David ruled a kingdom, he had to fight lions and bears in obscurity. Before Jesus rose in glory, he had to endure the cross in agony. Transformation always comes before elevation. Suffering always precedes glory. Endurance always precedes victory. So if your life feels like a battlefield right now, understand this. You are not being destroyed. You are being developed. Listen carefully. Spiritual warfare intensifies right before breakthrough. The enemy does not fight ordinary people with extraordinary force. He fights the ones who carry destiny because he knows what you carry could shift generations. That is why your struggles have felt heavier than everyone else's. That is why your battles have felt unusually intense. It is not because something is wrong with you. It is because something powerful is inside you, and hell is trying to stop it before it manifests. God is saying, the fight you are in is proof of the purpose you carry. If you were not chosen, the enemy would not be fighting so hard to distract you, discourage you, and derail you. But he knows something you may have forgotten. You are anointed. You are chosen. You are marked for a purpose that will bring glory to God and freedom to others. And the enemy trembles at the thought of you waking up to that truth. So today, wake up. Stop letting exhaustion convince you that you are weak. Stop letting rejection convince you that you are unworthy. Stop letting silence convince you that God has forgotten you. He has not forgotten you. He is preparing you. And preparation always feels uncomfortable before it feels glorious. Hear this clearly. Your breakthrough is not far away. It is closer than your doubt wants you to believe. Every storm you have survived was training your faith for the mountain you are about to climb. Every heartbreak you have endured was preparing your heart to love and lead without fear. Every night you cried yourself to sleep was building a testimony that will one day set someone else free. Nothing you have gone through has been wasted. God does not waste pain. He redeems it. He repurposes it. He transforms it into power. So if you feel broken right now, understand this. Broken things are not thrown away by God. They are remade. He takes shattered pieces and turns them into something the world calls a miracle. He takes wounded hearts and turns them into vessels of compassion that heal others. He takes rejected dreams and turns them into testimonies that inspire nations. What the enemy meant to destroy you, God is using to define you. This is the season where God is separating the chosen from the comfortable. The comfortable stay where it is easy. The chosen press forward even when it is hard. The comfortable settle for what feels safe. The chosen pursue what feels risky but divinely ordained. The comfortable silence the nudge because it disrupts their peace. The chosen follow the nudge because they know peace was never meant to come from comfort. It was meant to come from obedience. So which one are you? If you are still watching this, if these words are stirring something deep inside your chest, if your eyes are filling with tears you did not expect, you already know the answer. You are chosen. You have always been chosen, and it is time to stop running from what God has been trying to tell you. Listen carefully. This holy nudge is not going away. It is not a phase. It is not a passing emotion. It is the voice of God calling you toward the life you were destined to live, and every day you ignore it, you delay the very breakthrough you have been praying for. So today, choose differently. Choose to listen. Choose to obey. Choose to walk into the unknown, trusting that the one who called you will also equip you. Because your season of silence is ending. Your season of isolation is ending. Your season of waiting is ending, and your season of breakthrough is beginning. Hear this clearly. God is saying, I see you. I have always seen you, and I am not done with you yet. Let that truth settle over your spirit like warm oil. Let it heal the wounds that people caused. Let it silence the lies that told you were forgotten. Let it awaken the fire that has been buried beneath your pain. Because you were never forgotten. You were being formed. And now it is time for the second part of this message, the part where God begins to show you exactly what this transformation is preparing you for, and why the storm you are walking through is not the end of your story, but the beginning of your greatest chapter. Stay with me, because what God is about to say next will change everything. Now hear this clearly. We are entering the second half of this message, and this is where the deepest truths are revealed. This is not the part for the casual listener. This is the part for the chosen ones who have endured, who have wept in secret, who have fought battles no one applauded them for. If you have made it this far, God is not finished speaking to you. In fact, He is just getting started. Listen carefully. There is a difference between being called and being ready. Many people receive a calling, but few surrender to the process required to walk in it. God is not just calling you today. He is preparing you to carry what He is about to release into your life. And preparation requires something painful, something humbling, something that strips away the false identity the world tried to place on you. This is why you have felt like a stranger in rooms you used to feel comfortable in. This is why conversations that once excited you now feel empty. This is why relationships that once fulfilled you now feel shallow. It is not because something is wrong with you. It is because God is upgrading your spirit, and what fit the old version of you no longer fits who you are becoming. God is saying, I am not just changing your circumstances, I am changing you. This is the deepest transformation, not external, but internal. Not a change in what surrounds you, but a change in what defines you. And this transformation always comes with discomfort, because growth cannot happen in comfort. A seed cannot become a tree without being buried first. A caterpillar cannot become a butterfly without dissolving first. And you cannot become who God created you to be without surrendering the old version of yourself first. Hear this clearly. You are not falling apart. You are being rebuilt. Every piece of your old identity that feels like it is crumbling, the people-pleasing, the fear of rejection, the need for validation, the attachment to relationships that drained you, all of it is being stripped away, not because God is cruel, but because He is loving. He knows that the version of you carrying your purpose cannot be the same version of you who was afraid to speak up, afraid to stand alone, afraid to be different. This is the loneliness of the chosen. It is not a curse. It is a sacred process that few understand and even fewer survive with their faith intact. But you are surviving it. You are still here. You are still listening. You are still hoping, even when hope feels foolish. That is the mark of someone God is preparing for greatness. Listen carefully. Greatness is never given to the comfortable. It is forged in the fire of the forsaken. Think about every diamond formed under pressure. Think about every sword sharpened by friction. Think about every masterpiece carved from stone through relentless chiseling. Nothing valuable is created without resistance. And you, chosen one, are being shaped into something valuable, something the world has never seen before, something only you can carry, something that requires the exact pain you have walked through to be able to hold it without breaking. God is saying, if I gave you your purpose before I prepared your character, it would destroy you. This is why the waiting matters. This is why the pain matters. This is why the isolation matters. God is not being slow. He is being precise. He is not withholding your breakthrough out of neglect. He is timing it perfectly so that when it arrives, you will be strong enough, humble enough, and rooted enough to sustain it. Hear this clearly. Your breakthrough is not just about you receiving something. It is about you becoming someone. So many people pray for open doors without realizing that walking through those doors requires a version of themselves they have not yet become. God is not just preparing your future. He is preparing you for your future. And that requires dismantling every false foundation you built your identity on, the approval of others, the comfort of familiar pain, the fear of being seen for who you truly are. This is why signs have been appearing in your life. Repeating numbers that catch your eye at just the right moment. Conversations that feel divinely timed. Dreams that felt too real to ignore. A verse that seemed to leap off the page and speak directly to your situation. These were not coincidences. These were divine breadcrumbs leading you back to the truth that God has never left your side. Listen carefully. God is saying, I have been leaving you signs because I did not want you to miss this moment. He knew the enemy would try to convince you that you were forgotten. He knew the silence would feel unbearable at times. So he left markers along your path, small confirmations that you were still being watched over, still being guided, still being prepared for something extraordinary. Did you notice them, or were you too distracted by pain to see them? It is not too late. God is not finished revealing himself to you. But today, he is asking you to open your eyes, open your heart, and stop dismissing the holy nudges as random thoughts or wishful thinking. They are prophetic whispers, calling you toward the life you were destined to live. Hear this clearly. This is a prophetic warning as much as it is a prophetic promise. If you continue to ignore the nudge, you risk delaying what God is trying to release. Not because he will abandon you, God never abandons his chosen, but because timing matters, and obedience accelerates what disobedience delays. The Israelites wandered for 40 years, not because the promised land was far away, but because their hearts were not ready to receive it. Do not let your hesitation cost you decades of delay. Today is the day to say yes. Say yes to the discomfort of change. Say yes to the loneliness of transformation. Say yes to the unknown, trusting that the one who called you sees the full picture, even when you can only see fragments. Say yes to letting go of relationships that were never meant to walk with you into your calling. Say yes to healing, even when it means confronting pain you have avoided for years, because on the other side of that yes is everything you have been praying for. Listen carefully. Betrayal was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to detach you. Every person who hurt you, every friend who abandoned you, every love that left you broken-hearted, all of it was God gently, painfully, detaching you from a life that was never big enough to hold your destiny. You may not understand this yet, but one day you will look back and thank God for every door that closed, every person who left, every dream that seemed to die, because those endings made room for beginnings so much greater than anything you could have imagined for yourself. God is saying, I did not take it from you to punish you. I took it from you to prepare you. Hear this clearly. Your current pain is not evidence of God's absence. It is evidence of God's proximity. He draws closest to the broken-hearted. He moves fastest on behalf of the humble. He fights hardest for the ones who feel forgotten. The very fact that you are hurting so deeply is proof that you are precisely where God can do his deepest work. So do not curse this season. Bless it. Do not resist this process. Surrender to it. Because what feels like breaking right now is actually the sound of chains falling off. Chains of fear, chains of people-pleasing, chains of settling, chains of silence. You are being set free, chosen one. And freedom always feels uncomfortable before it feels glorious. Listen carefully. Victory is not the absence of struggle. It is what comes after enduring the struggle with faith intact. You are closer to that victory than you have ever been. The very fact that you have not given up, that you are still watching, still listening, still believing despite everything, that is your victory already being written. God is saying, you have already won, you just have not seen it manifest yet. Hold on to that truth. Let it anchor you through the final stretch of this season. Because breakthrough is not a myth. It is not a fantasy reserved for other people. It is your appointed portion, and it is coming. So today, chosen one, respond to the nudge. Do not silence it again. Do not talk yourself out of what your spirit already knows. God has been trying to reach you, and today he finally has your full attention. Let this be the day everything changes. Let this be the day you stop running from your calling and start walking into it with courage. Let this be the day you release the people who left, forgive the wounds that broke you, and embrace the transformation God has been orchestrating all along, because your test is almost over, your testimony is almost ready, and your triumph is closer than you have ever imagined. Hear this clearly, one final time. God is saying, I am not done with you. I am just getting started. If these words touched your spirit today, if you felt seen, if you felt understood in a way you have not felt in a long time, then do not let this moment pass in silence. Type the word chosen in the comments right now as a declaration that you receive this word over your life. Let it be your seed of faith, planted today, watered by obedience, and destined to grow into the harvest you have been waiting for. Strengthen your faith today, not tomorrow, not when things feel easier. Today, in the middle of the waiting, in the middle of the pain, in the middle of the silence. Because faith is not tested in comfort. It is tested in seasons exactly like this one. Trust God's timing even when it does not make sense, even when the waiting feels unbearable, even when everyone around you seems to be moving forward while you feel stuck. Your timing is not late, it is divine, and what God has prepared for you cannot be stolen, rushed, or replaced. And if this message stirred something in you, subscribe so you never miss another word God wants to speak directly to your spirit. There are more messages coming, more truths waiting to be unveiled, more breakthroughs waiting to be declared over your life. You were chosen before the foundations of the world were even laid. You were set apart for such a time as this, and today you finally listened. Go now, chosen one, and walk boldly into everything God has been preparing you for.